today. Let me know if you guys are. Let me know if you guys, whoever's in this room. But something I want to talk about, man. Something I want to talk about because I actually spoke to some people not too long ago. Right, I sent in a super chat. Um, over there to some of the guys, some Arsenal fans over there on AFTV, and if you guys don't know, I'm a big Arsenal fan. You know what I mean? I'm a big Arsenal fan, big sports fan, but I kind of know, there are things in sports that make me question, the fairness of sports that happen on a regular basis. But for the most part, if, a great team shows up, they're capable of doing some phenomenal things. But yeah, but something that kind of crossed my mind today, right? And something that I've kind of been thinking about because I hear this a lot, right? I hear people kind of talk down on other leagues. Okay. I hear people kind of talk down on other leagues, right? So, as people who consume or watch the English Premier League, as people who are constantly watching, their favorite clubs, right? Because we speak the language of English, right? Because we kind of grew up watching certain players. You think to yourself, oh man, this league is so competitive. Oh, it's great. It's the best league. But you're only watching the English Premier League. That's the only league you're watching. So what gauges it? What makes it the best league in the world? Well, then some people will say, hey, listen, it's the most competitive league in the world. And then I might say, wait, if it's the most competitive league, that means there's a new winner every year, right? No, there's not a new winner every year. So last year, the winner of the Premier League, that was actually their third or fourth title. I think it's their third title in a row, right? That they've won, and they've won. I want to say 5 out of the last 6 or something crazy, an astronomical amount of wins, right? So then, what do we use to gauge it? How can we say this team is the best or this league is the best? Well, do they play together anywhere? They kind of do. So where do the best teams play? The best teams in Europe. The best teams in the most competitive leagues, quote unquote, in the world. Where do they play? Well, you have the Champions League. Hello, Mr. Roblox. Well, you have the Champions League. So, all right, fair enough. So the Champions League, let's use that as a measuring stick. And a lot of times they're like, oh, no, well, you can't use that. Then what's the point of the Champions League if this is not the league that's determining, or this is not the competition that determines who is the best, who is the absolute best? So then I stroll down, I decide, all right, cool. Well, I want to do a little research for myself to really find out who's the best. What's good, Brody? How you doing? So then I see from the year 2013, 7 of the teams from the 2013-14 season have come from Spain. 7 of the 10 or 11 teams, they've all come from Spain. The winners of that competition have all come from Spain. And then I look at the competition around the world, right? And I look in the English Premier League, the last 2 consecutive winners, right? And the runner-up have been coaches from Spain. The winner of the European title has been a coach from Spain. Well, basically, I'm talking about right now, if you guys are just, stepping in, I kind of asked some people, over there on AFTV. Big up to AFTV, by the way. I asked them what was the best league in the world. I asked them how is the English Premier League the best league in the world, basically, right? When so many Champions League winners have come from Spain. When Real Madrid is the most dominant team in the Champions League. But I kind of looked at the most titles, right? So out of the most titles, 1 out of the top 5 is English, and that's Liverpool, right? Most appearances, the English teams are not even in the top 10 most appearances in the Champions League, right? Celtic is number 7, Juventus is number 6, Bayern Munich number 5, Ajax, Dynamo Kiev, Benfica, which really is a surprise, is number 2, and Real Madrid number 1, right? And when you stroll all the way down, right, you don't see an English team until number 15, which is Liverpool, and number 19. So English Premier League teams appeared twice, right? Appeared twice in the top 20. Yet people are saying the English Premier League is the best league in the world. And if you play in another league, oh, it's the Farmers League. And if you play in another league, oh, well, it's not as competitive. But how is Pep Guardiola now dominating that league? You understand what I'm saying? So for me, even though I love the English Premier League, I love the competition, right? I love the players that are in the competition. From my perspective, well, if I really take an objective perspective, if I step outside of myself and I really look at it from an objective angle, well, it really seems as if Spain is producing the best footballers. Spain is producing the best football coaches. Spain is actually doing it at a really, really big rate. At a huge rate. It seems as if Spain is dominating football. When I grew up, it was Brazil. Right? When I grew up, Brazil was the most dominant team in the world, and all the football factory was basically Brazil. Ronaldinho, Robinho, Ronaldo, Kaká. We could go on and on. Rivaldo. You understand what I'm saying? And they just played a different style of football. It was more about flair and going out there and expressing yourself. But now that it's structured, it's more technical players, but it's like a different type of technical players, right? It's more about passing and moving. You know what I mean? Getting in the open space, letting the ball do the work. And the best at it right now is Spain. The Spanish league, right, is dominating. And the Spanish national team is dominating. And he says, yes, but you have English players in them. Of course. Okay, I see. The Premier League is more competitive, and that's why you don't get outright domination. Well, we could argue that the Premier League isn't that competitive anymore because Pep wins it every year. Right? So then what now makes it competitive if Pep Guardiola is formulating, is coming up with a formula to take home the league title every single year, right? He's basically, in my lifetime, I thought, it was always going to be Manchester United was always going to be the top dog in England, even though I'm an Arsenal fan, right? And then Pep Guardiola came and he said, there's a new sheriff in town. So now the big dogs it's still in Manchester, but now it's on the other side of Manchester. Now it's the blue side of Manchester. Right? And it took a Spanish coach to come in and change the league forever. Right? So for me, again, it's about perception being reality. So I'm not saying people are wrong for saying the English Premier League is the best league in the world. I'm not here to say you're wrong for that. I love the English Premier League. I watch that league more than any other league. But if we're being objective, how can it be the best league in the world? Right? When all the Champions League winners are coming from somewhere else now. All the Champions League winners, most of them are coming from Spain. Right? And in the last 11 years, let's see, Chelsea won, Liverpool won. I think only 2 teams from England have won. I think Chelsea won twice and Liverpool won once. Right? Okay, Manchester United was good under Sir Alex Ferguson. Yes, they were really good under Sir Alex Ferguson. Right? But the league has changed. Right? Because when Jose Mourinho came into the league, right, into the Premier League, it added a different dynamic. Now it wasn't Wenger and Ferguson anymore, mostly Ferguson. Now there's a new big dog in town. Right? So Jose Mourinho came in and he made the English Premier League more competitive. Are we still living in that time where you had Jose Mourinho? Pardon me. I'm sorry, I need some water. Sorry, I really needed that. So are we still living in that time, right? Where we had Jose Mourinho, we had Arsene Wenger, and we had Sir Alex Ferguson. Three of the best coaches of all time. That's when the Premier League was more competitive, because now you have it's really a big three-horse race of which one of these teams are going to win. Even though Arsenal had probably overstayed its welcome at the top, quote unquote, at the time when Jose Mourinho came in. But Jose Mourinho is still being a good coach. Would he be a good coach in the Premier League today? I can't say so. I can't say Sir Alex Ferguson would have the same level of success either. I can't say that. The league's changed big time. Big time. It's a completely different league now. So, as great as Arsene Wenger and Ferguson and Jose Mourinho were in the past, would they be able to do it? And look, me personally, I think Don Carlo is probably the best coach in the world. I think Don Carlo is probably the best coach in the world. A lot of people say Pep Guardiola, and I can understand why you would say Pep Guardiola. But then, look at what Don Carlo's done. But when Don Carlo came to the Premier League, and he was playing at Everton, I believe. He was the coach of Everton. Didn't really do much, did he? Right? And that's not to say because the Premier League was so competitive, he didn't have what he has as at his disposal. So it does take having some of the best players a lot of time, right? And I would say Pep Guardiola plays really, really good team football. Great, phenomenal team football. But he also needs the players to execute his instructions, right? So, all in all, when I look at some of these stats, I think to myself, there's no way we could still say that the Premier League is the best league in the world, right? We can't say that anymore. We have to be a lot more objective, right? And people can't come out and outright disrespect the French league as if the French league is a farmers league. Because the player that people were calling the best in the world, who, might I add, had an absolutely horrendous Euros the other day, Kylian Mbappe, right? Kylian Mbappe, who everyone says is the best player in the world, had a terrible, terrible Euros, right? And big shout outs to Kylian Mbappe. But he knows it. He played in the French league before he made his move to the Spanish league, right? William Saliba made his name in the French league, right? So many players made their name in the French league before moving on. And the French national team is one of the best teams in the world as well, right? Before, it was the big three: Italy, England, and Spain. Now, now I would say things of well, Portugal, you could probably throw Portugal and the Netherlands in there, but now I'd say a lot of things have changed. Manchester United, they was good under Ferguson, not good manager. Pep better. He said Don Carlo's not a good manager. I mean, that's your opinion. I think Don Carlo is probably the best. And look, it could be Pep as well. You know what I mean? Or Jurgen Klopp. I think Jurgen Klopp is that manager that can do the most with the least. I think Jurgen Klopp is that manager that could turn players into phenomenal players. He could turn good players into great players. And I don't think every manager is able to do that. I think most managers are going to purchase a player that's already made a name for himself. But I think Jurgen Klopp is one of those guys that can really galvanize a player and bring the best out of him. And there are only certain coaches that really have that. When I look at Pep, and I think of some of the players that he purchased, i.e., I look at Jack Grealish, who he paid 100 million euros for, or something like that, something crazy like that. And I think to myself, well, why is Jack Grealish on the bench? He only fast but not form. Who? Who's only fast but no form? Oh, Mbappe. That's who he said. Fast but no form. I get it. I think Mbappe. We can't take anything away from him because he did win a World Cup. He was the best player in that World Cup, and he really gave Argentina a run for their money. And it was a bit controversial how Argentina won that cup, as well as what happened in the Cup of America the other day. That was just diabolical. Like everything that happened in the Cup of, I just think it was poor refereeing. It was poor refereeing, and not just the Argentina game. I'm not, but in general, I just think it was just poor. He gets the team together as a team. Klopp. Yeah, you're absolutely right. You're absolutely right. Klopp is going to galvanize you and bring the best out of you. And I think Mikel Arteta shows traits of that as well. I think Mikel Arteta, and kind of how you look at players like Kai Havertz, in which I don't understand why people call themselves fans, but they get so abusive toward the players, right? And that's not a word I like to throw around, but I see it. Like Kai Havertz is a player, I just wanted to support him. All right, you put on the jersey, I want you to do well. And I think there's a player in there because otherwise you wouldn't be starting for Germany. Otherwise you wouldn't have played in Chelsea and helped them to win a Champions League, might I add. So there's definitely a player in there, but I just saw where, a lot of times fans they're so frustrated and they just want to voice their frustration. Right? But I salute a lot of those players, man. I salute the players. I salute the coaches. And I do think the English Premier League is one of the best leagues. But we can't just blindly say it's the best league in the world. We can't do that anymore. We can't say that anymore. Right? Other leagues and other teams are doing a phenomenal job as well. Aston Villa is doing a phenomenal job as well. Right? Again, another Spanish manager. Right? Another Spanish manager in Aston Villa. One that used to manage Arsenal. And a really, really good manager as well. So again, like the Spanish league and the Spanish FA and Spanish, as just Spain as a whole, is producing the best football minds right now. It seems as if all of them are coming from Spain. Right? Most, if not all. When I looked at that tournament the other day and I saw that kid Lamine Yamal, man, that was something to see. That was something to watch. How you doing, Queen Alex? Absolutely. Ask away. Ask some questions. I'm here for them. Ask some questions. I just kind of wanted to talk about sports tonight. Hey, how you doing? How's everyone? Great. You guys, if you're not subscribed to the channel. There's a lot more content. And it's not just sports, you know what I mean? Shout out to everyone. Where are you guys from? Oh, Canada in the house. I have family in Scarborough. Scarborough. Yeah, in Canada. But yeah, man, Winnipeg. Okay, who's from Winnipeg? Oh, Chris Jericho. Isn't that where Chris Jericho's from? Winnipeg. Thank you so much for the subscription. England. I want to go to England one day. I've been to Canada. I want to go to England. USA in the house. Philippines in the house. Yes. Big. Okay, nice. Shout outs to everyone that's in here. Thank you guys for tuning in. But yeah, guys, Yeah, Canada did very well. Canada did better than I thought they would in the Cup of America. It was a lot of surprises. I didn't expect Mexico to do so bad. Stuttgart, nice, nice, nice. You know what's crazy? The German league is one of those leagues that's as great. I want to say number one is Spain right now, and number two, it's between Germany and England. It's between Germany and England. I think Germany had some of the greatest team. Well, even though Bayern Munich kind of has like a monopoly on the league, when you think about Dortmund and you think about now, not well RB Leipzig, but also Bayer Leverkusen, man, they wow, Leverkusen had a phenomenal season. Again, Xabi Alonso, another Spanish manager, just to prove my point, right? Xabi Alonso, another Spanish manager. Just to show you, this Spain is the new and improved Brazil. You know what I mean? Because Spain is coming with the philosophy. Brazil might produce the talent, the flair. Spain is coming with the technical aspect of it, the pass and move, the tiki taka. Right? Spain has definitely revolutionized football. I love Dortmund. Dortmund is probably my team. I don't really have a team in Germany, but if I were to have a team, I would say it would be Dortmund. I think Dortmund has produced some of the most talented players. Jadon Sancho, Erling Haaland, who I knew was going to be a phenomenal player. Jude Bellingham, yeah, yeah. Germany internationally, yes, Germany did play better than England. Germany definitely played better than England. I think England was actually terrible. What's crazy is they made it to the finals, but they were terrible. I don't know how that happened, but the expectation was that England was going to win. I don't think anybody expected Spain to do that great. You play softball? Nice. I had a girlfriend once that played when I was really young, that played softball. But yeah, England, man, England, and to think about the players that they have. The thing is with England, right? They're so tribal, and this isn't me taking shots or anything like that. Because again, I love England. I love the English Premier League. I love the players that they have. I think they have some of the best players, some of the best talent. But they're so tribal, right? So because they're so tribal, it's hard for them to really get behind a team. Because let's say you're a Tottenham fan, and you look in that team, and you see some of your rivals like Arsenal, Chelsea, they have players that are in the team, but you don't have any players in the team. A lot of times people decide they're not going to support the team for that reason. England needs their players back, the good ones. Wait. Okay, so when you say the good ones, are you talking about Jack Grealish? I think Raheem Sterling has always done great in tournaments for England. I think Marcus Rashford had a great World Cup, right? I think them leaving out those players made made England worse. I think even who's the guy who everyone Maguire, right? Even though Maguire is not that great for Manchester United, Maguire is always phenomenal for England, right? And Henderson was always great for England. But I don't know, man. The way how he kind of chooses his players, I think the coaching was just terrible. I think England just needs a Spanish coach, man. I think England needs a Spanish coach. I think that's what they have to do. He said Kane needs to retire. I don't think Kane needs to retire. I think Kane did well for Bayern Munich last season. He did phenomenally well for Bayern Munich last season. But he just had a terrible Euros. I think they should have probably started Ollie Watkins. I think they would have had a better chance starting Ollie Watkins Yeah, Harry Kane was just stagnant. He barely moved. He was always in midfield. It's like they were playing with no striker, not even a false nine. Like he was playing like the number six role. You know what I mean? I don't think he needs to retire. I just think he kind of needs to fall back from either international or yeah, I think he just needs to fall back from international for a little while and kind of just I don't know, maybe get himself sharper for the World Cup that's coming up because yeah, if it's any indication of how he's going to play and then he's also, not getting any younger, I don't think he really people say he's the best number 9 in the world. I think Erling Haaland is the best number 9 in the world. I think it's not even close. I think Erling Haaland would have, and I'm not comparing him to Kylian Mbappe, but I think Erling Haaland would have had a better tournament than Mbappe. Anyone want to meet up in? No, 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 no violence, no violence, no violence. USA Soccer, it's impossible. They're insufferable. USA Soccer's I wouldn't say USA Soccer's insufferable, man. Big up Nate's Talk Live. Everybody that's out there, check out Nate. Nate, you know what I mean? Really has some good content out there. I wouldn't say it's insufferable. I think Uruguay never should have won that match. I think Uruguay definitely stole that. Again, the officiating was just terrible. Just terrible officiating. Just terrible. And it's right through the whole tournament. Right through the whole tournament. He said, "I'll fight." No fight. Nobody's gonna fight anybody. All right. This is not. We don't fight over here. That's not what we doing. He said their style is whack. I think the coaching has a lot to do with it. I think USA has some really great young players. I think Christian Pulisic is great. I think Balogun is great. I think USA has a team they could build, some players they could really build around, but I think the coaching philosophy is just terrible. I think the structure of the team is terrible. I think how things are organized is terrible. And I don't, because there's so many talented soccer players in the United States. So many. Absolutely, Connor. What you got to say, man? I'm going to play in college. Man, listen, great luck to you, man, when you do play college soccer. The style of play is boring. Peace out, Queen. Have a good night. Soccer ain't for everybody. And I think when it's all said and done, I wouldn't even call it soccer. I call it football. Like, everybody calls it football. It's known around the world as football. I don't think it's... I think it's changing. I think prime football or prime soccer was back in the 2000s. I think every league was competitive. I think they had, like, real men. I think every league had some world-class players. You know what I mean? You could name world-class players in the top 3 or to 5 teams in the top 4 leagues for sure, which Italy, England, Germany, and Spain, for sure. Does Ronaldo Goon Max or Edge Max? Not entirely sure what you're trying to say. Does Ronaldo Goon Max or Edge Max? Not entirely sure what that is. John says we invented football and we can't win. John, that could be the truest statement ever, man. Yeah, you invented the sport, but it's not that you can't win. It's just that England is just too tribal. I think that's what it all boils down to. I think people don't get behind the team. I think people want, get Saka out of the team and put in, what's the kid's name? Cole Palmer. I think people, get Foden out of the team and put in this guy. Get this guy out of the team, put in this guy, because that guy plays for my club and that guy's better than this guy, right? Mbappe, I would not say Mbappe is. He didn't prove that he was the best in the world. I think at one point, I think you have to prove it. I don't think that tournament could really. You could say you're the best in the world after a tournament like that, right? I think Lamine Yamal could say he's the best in the world right now, and he's 16. I think Rodri could say he's the best in the world right now. I think even Vinicius Jr. could say he's the best in the world right now. Not even Jude Bellingham, who I thought was going to be great. No. But the 3 goals in the final, no, that I don't think that's enough to really cement it. I think that was a great performance. All right, but I don't think that cements it. I don't think, and that was so long ago as well. You know what I mean? Nah, he said I'm crazy. Nah, man. Listen. I'm a big Mbappe fan, big time Mbappe fan. Yeah, but no, it don't work like that against Messi. Nah, it doesn't work like that. I think he had a great game. I think he rose to the occasion. Still think he came up short. And he did what it wasn't his fault, but at the same time, no. That tournament and what happened this tournament, will he be able to get back to his best? Maybe. Yeah, man. Listen, have a good night, Brody. He scored 4. Yeah, have a good night, Brody. But yeah, all in all, the point that I was trying to make, we can't go off and say English Premier League is the best league in the world. And that's pretty much all that I have to say. Thank everyone for tuning in. This is just something I just wanted to get off my chest. Have a great night, everyone. He said I'm tripping. Take care, Nate. Go to bed. Peace out.